Hello. Hello, everybody. Hello, Mamoru and Miko. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. So, we're going to work on Awebo some more. I mean, that's going to be the thing that we do for a while. Hey, Blurry Cat. Hello. So we have some mildly exciting stuff. We got a bunch of PRs from Andrew. So Andrew is pushing some work that he's doing to re-enable audio. Uh, he decided to go with Pulse Audio, at least for now, I guess. And he is pushing code that should match the current abstractions that we have in place, which I did not come up with myself. So I don't have a comment on how appropriate they are or not. I don't know, but they do stuff. So as far as I can tell, they're good. And um, what's he's doing in persistence? Oh, he changed load. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. In any case, yeah, where this PR apparently adds code that builds but does not work. Andrew also encountered a crash when testing it. We're gonna try to repro maybe. Have Linux in here? We do have Linux in here. Git stash. We can git pull. We can probably also git pull his branch. Um, hmm. Update branch by rebase. About that. Okay, I'll be right back. One sec. I'll be right back. Okay. Uh, let's see. Database is locked. Right. We have another instance running. Also, we want to reset the database. Okay. Server run. GUI. Oh, right. Somehow we're unable to build on Linux. Why am I getting this build error? Hmm. Init window failed. No available video device. Why? What did I do wrong? This part is really unclear to me. You know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. Copy. I'm gonna make an issue for this. Is this building or running? This is running. I think it's a bug. You know what? I'm not gonna put a bug label if I'm not sure. Okay, so we'll see. So that means, unfortunately, that we're not gonna be able to try the Pulse audio stuff. God damn it! I will try to reboot in the other mode. Uh, I'll see how far that gets us. I don't think it will get us particularly far, but fine. Let's go. What the fuck? Casual double login. Okay. Web. Gear. Geary. Install input method panel num shell to provide the input method pop-up. Music files. Show apps. Ghosty. Holy shit! This Ghosty is borderless, windowless. No, borderless. Uh, um. Okay, I don't know. Okay, now the keybinds do weird stuff they used not to do. Oh, FC's SDL2. Since when? What was that it? System library name not recognized by build script SDL2. Okay, so I'm getting the same error. That FC's though is there for a reason. I think we were able to make this work with that flag in the past, but I don't know what happened since then. Maybe we should look at the old code and see if it does something. Hello Pudotta, hello X2, hello everybody. I don't know. Let's go back to i3. FC's SDL2. FC's SDL2. Where's the FC's stuff? Enable a system integration. Oh, oh. So we had that. Okay, you know what? Chances are that we had that in place and then we got rid of it by mistake. Okay, let me go check the old code base where we might still have it. Backend SDL3. but this is not doing any. This is not doing any system setup. Like, where was the FCs coming from? The FC stuff. I don't think we had any. Configure audio backend. So there's like there's no special code for handling for giving stuff to D2. Oh, sorry, to DVOI. I mean video backend wise. So that's a setup server. Doesn't matter. Setup client. DVOI backend SDL3. This, you know what though? This code might be already too new. Yeah, this code might already be through too new. So what if we go back a little bit more to like commits from 2024, like this one, browse files. Do you have anything special? Oh, libxcv. Good times, good times. Audio backend. Setup server doesn't matter. DVOI, just target optimize. Then add import. And then nothing else. Okay, you know what? Maybe the flag is not SDL2, it's SDL3. Oh shit. Yeah, you know what? We are making progress. How do I get my hands on SDL3? Lib SDL3. SDL3. Oh shit, it's a thing. Maybe. Yes. It is a thing. Holy shit, it works. We did it. That was it. That was it. Fuck. I should not have done what I just did. I should have done this. Oh no, I created this thing. Let's go back to one. Also, this is light mode. This is horrible, man. Holy shit. Zig build go in Awebo, Zig build server run. Now we failed authentication. Command Q, Command W, Command W kills the thing. Okay. RM rf slash dot config slash Awebo. Try again. Join existing. Admin. Join. We're in. Settings. Crash. Okay. Panic to do. Well, okay. That is fair. So I think I can close my own issue. Okay, so you know what? We're gonna make a commit for this. So git status, git diff. What do we have in here? Oh, we removed one thing. Okay, not particularly important. Uh, contributing .md. This thing drives me nuts. I cannot put a third backtick at the end of this file. Like this language server or whatever it is that's causing this is absolutely moronic. It's so stupid, man. Okay. Okay. I mean, then I think we can merge this. Can we do Zig build CI in this branch? My board disk space running out. Okay, Zig build CI works. No reason not to merge. Okay, so that's merged. Now we have this one to merge. I think everything was addressed. I already saw this comment here. Let me see this new one. Yeah, adds nullable int. Oh shit, touches. Oh, right. Hmm. Okay, so he went for the null option. That works. Okay. Remaining equals remaining minus 1, where slack equals 1, and remaining is greater than 0, and remaining is not null. Yeah. Okay, this all checks out to me. CI did succeed, so this works. Problem is we have conflicts. So um, that means that we need to fetch this, and we can edit this branch with these PRs. So we're gonna push a comment on there or like do stuff to it. I even think that I think we want to merge this commit into one of the previous ones. I think we want that to basically undo anything that was done to tables. Uh, one change files, invite.zig. Okay, this doesn't matter. So it's this one. No. Um. Oh, there's more. I guess it would be the first one. This one touches database, but it does not touch tables. Where's the commit that touches tables? Oops. Does not touch tables. Does not touch tables. Does not touch tables. Does not touch tables. Um, I am so confused. Okay, one of these commits has to touch tables, other than a commit other than the last one. Well, I guess this is what the overall thing becomes. So, well, hopefully Git is smart enough to not annoy me too much about it. Okay, site can be reached. Connection refused. What? Git status. What do we do with this commit here? I'm gonna commit this. Git push. Get into Imon Burns main. So we want to merge this into master, or we want to rebase this on master. I think we want to rebase on main. Okay, there's conflicts. Git status. Both modified main server.zig. Okay. Okay. This is what we both had. Then this is what we have in master, in main. This is what they have. Um, we want to keep my server and their invite. The reason why we want to keep my server is because this import is required for testing. So this is what fixes it, in theory. Q, Zig build CI. Oh man, we can run CI every step of the way. So let's see. Git release continue. Oh, um, do. Oh, I need to add. Yeah, of course there would be conflict here. Oh, this sucks. Man, okay, so this is running me through all their commits. You know what? I think I don't want to do this. I think I want to do a squash merge. This is what I was talking about. Border base. So I guess we're going to main. With a squash merge. And we solve only one set of conflicts. Okay, this is what we fixed earlier. Keep my server. Keep there everything else. Hello there, Teufel. Awebo tables. Yeah, there we go. Now this conflict is like much more reasonable. We basically keep mine. That was the only conflict. We see I. We can see I. So everything went well. So now what do we do? Then commit the result. That's it. And here, I think this thing is not gonna know that I merged it. So I need to say, how do I say that this was merged? Hmm. Okay, this UI is confusing me because I saw at some point there was the option of merging manually. And so continuing the target branch, the author of this pull request is always trusted to run workflows. Command instructions: merge, switch main, merge, ff no, ermos main, push origin main. Yeah, but where's the button? Dude, there used to be a button in here that allowed me to do this. That is kind of what I did. I went to main. I did a squash merge, to be fair. But it should still allow me to mark it as merged. Re-request review. There have been changes since the review. Dismiss review. Is it because there's an open review that has not been like solved? Yeah, there's a. So if I dismiss my review, still in progress, add work in progress prefix. Oh shit. I should not have clicked that. God damn it, it's doing stuff. Oh no. Side panel bottom here. Yeah, none of this does that. I wonder what happens if I dismiss the review. Trying to merge to manually merge. What happens if I do this? Okay, I guess it's because of the conflict. Um, okay, it seems that because of the conflict, um, the I squash merged the PR manually, but it seems that because of the conflict, I can't I can't mark it as manually merged. Closing it, closing it. I guess I'm gonna link the commit that acts as the squash merge. I like get the commit ID. Copy. Okay. Okay, with this I processed all PRs. That is good. So uh we're back on top of everything. What am I gonna do now? I am going to have so many Awebo tabs open. um I'm going to also, we don't need to mess with this query anymore. So what I'm going to do now is work on porting more queries to the new database stuff. So it's boring. Like it is incredibly boring work, but it's good pain. It's good work because it's basically me now test driving my abstraction and seeing how it works in the wild, seeing what changes it causes. Uh, I was able yesterday to test what would happen whenever you made a mistake. And that also, I was able also to test the development experience, because the part of the reason why I'm making this abstraction is that this is, I think, an interesting point that I don't think is understood well enough in software development in general. When you use an ORM, the ORM locks you into talking about your database in terms of the OOP features of your language, in a sense, and that sucks. You cannot come up with you cannot, like, it's not natural for you to do queries that are optimized for the database. So for example, I was reading all morning SQLite documentation, and I tweaked my table definitions a bunch because of that. I now know when to use without row ID, when not to. I now know that I was doing the ID thing. I changed it because I want to be able to do integer, also without unique. I want to be able to do integer primary key. So this is important. And because of that, I dropped the ID thing, and I ended up with another convention. So basically, whenever I'm trying to recognize something as a unique ID, I name it either UID, or I suffix it with underscore UID. So for example, updates that are not timestamps, that are instead the sequence number, I call them update underscore UID. So uh, says the setting for automatic detection isn't enabled for the repository. Yes, but the fact the automatic detection stuff, if you do enable it, then it will mark automatically. But if you don't, there's normally a button that allows you to report a PR as manually merged. So I cannot show you on this repo because there's nothing open. But if I go, for example, to ziglang.org, well, ziglang/zig, if I go on the Zig repository and I click on APR, in here, I can select create a merge commit, rebase, then create merge commit, create squash commit, and oh, maybe they disabled it, but somewhere in here there's also manual merge. It's in here somewhere. I guess maybe this repository has the manual merge option disabled, but I've seen it. Or there we go, manually merged. You have the option of closing APR as having been manually merged. And you don't have to have that setting enabled. In fact, I don't think we have that setting enabled in Zig. That being said, I cannot go into the settings because I don't have admin access. Unfortunately, here I'm just a normal contributor. I mean, no, so the problem is that when we created, I was the owner of the organization, but there is like not a lot of granularity in Codeberg in terms of permissions. So I was like the ultimate owner, and I could like when you're an admin, you have a lot of power, and so since I didn't think I would really need it, I just gave it to Andrew and removed permissions for myself and called it a day. So unfortunately, that means that I cannot mess with even not too sensitive options. Hello, Temporus, and also hello, Road GPA and Magic Fire. Nice. Are you creating the Discord alternative? Yes, that's what I'm working on. It's called Awebo. Hey, Caricam. Hello. So what was I saying? So I fine-tuned my table definitions a bunch. I now understand hello 11. I now understand SQLite a lot better. I have to say one thing, if I have to be honest. I know that this is not how people that do people who do like quote unquote evangelism, who are like I don't know, it makes me fun. It makes me laugh saying it out loud, but like public personalities don't usually talk about things this way. That being said, I just um, so let me put it this way. When it comes to people that hold actual power, you obviously want them to not be complete dumb asses. If somebody is the, I don't know, head of police, you do not want the head of police to go on a stage and say, "Oh yeah, is like, you know what? I'm if you cross me, I'm gonna put you in jail no matter what because I have the power." You don't want them to say this. But I think there's like a flip side of this fact where whenever somebody is in any shape or form considered a public personality, then people tend to want them to be not a real person. They want them to be a character. They hate whenever somebody who is somewhat famous has quirks, issues, makes mistakes, farts. That is horrible because people really like they really want their simplistic um, um, mental image of that person to apply always. So that is annoying. So, for example, whenever people say that, I don't know, oh man, Zig is not professional and whatnot. I mean, I don't know. It's like we're not a fucking iPhone. We're not Apple. We're not an iPhone. So there's gonna be fingerprints. There's gonna be smudge edges. Fuck you. That's my point. Again, but that being said, I do understand that when people do hold power, you do want them to be precise with their speech. You do not want them to be, too ironic, make jokes that go too far, that kind of stuff. Obviously, that being said, we don't really hold that much power. So, like, I think that by that metric, we should be held to some standard, just not in the way that people tend to want us to do, in my opinion. That being said, where am I going with this? I've been looking at SQLite and I find the documentation to be delightful. I find that it's not perfect. One thing that they do a lot, which I personally don't really love, is that they leave quirks in how things work to not break backwards compatibility. I get it. I understand the point. It's just that I exist on the side of the fence where I'm more geared towards innovation and less towards protecting what's already there. So I do think the software should be maintained, or like I'll give you one example. For example, they have a bug where if you do integer primary key ascending, this column will be an alias for the row ID. If instead you do descending, this column will not be an alias for the row ID. And to obtain that effect, you have to define UID as normal and as a normal thing, and then you have to do primary key desk or this might be the wrong syntax. Maybe it's something like this: primary key UID desk, something like this. I don't remember what the exact syntax is, but you have to do it this way because there's a bug that they never fixed because of not wanting to break backwards compatibility. In any case, that part I'm not fully on board, but I understand their perspective. I fully respect it. Personally, the reason why I would say that I don't really like this is because I think there's a cost in the cognitive dissonance of things being quirky and broken, and things being more nuanced than they need to be. And so I think there's a cost that I would like to, that I think I hate personally paying that cost. In any case, my point is SQLite is awesome. I read the docs. I love it. I think it's an amazing piece of software. I mean, people already kind of know this. You hear people say that SQLite is good, whatever. But the more I learn about it, the more I feel like, man, it is really good. I have to say one thing. I think that Torso is going no fucking where. Torso is the Rust rewrite of SQLite, and it is also a startup. Man, you couldn't get it any more wrong than what they're doing. So, a startup trying to become critical infrastructure for software is a very dangerous game. It's an extremely dangerous game. So, for example, there was this. Yeah, for example, Tiger Beetle is playing this game, which is turbo dangerous. The thing that makes me optimistic about Tiger Beetle is that, man, they're a financial database. So, like, it's a database for managing money, and so it makes sense for venture capital to be paying for that. Like, it's gonna have a business model that it has a sound business model. So I think in the end, I think there are very good chances that Tiger Beetle, plays out well. Let me give you an example of a project that I don't think played out the way that maybe some people, including me, would have wanted. There's this database. There's this JavaScript runtime that came out and promised to be, to eventually be able to become a replacement for the status quo, right? Better, faster, leaner, more ergonomic to use than the existing runtime that everybody uses. And so it was kind of promising to you that if you paid attention to it and if you used it, you would eventually and like you would be basically riding a wave of innovation and eventually end up at the top of that huge wave, and you would be using basically the new status quo, right? The new critical infrastructure that everybody else will want to use at some point. Problem is that's a hard promise, right? Like whenever people were looking at this thing, they were not just evaluating for what it was able to do at a given point in time. They were also evaluating it in light of the promise. But when that promise is made from venture capital, man, it's hard. You're not going to be able to maintain that promise because you're looking for an exit. Chances are, not everybody is, but generally speaking, yes, right? Especially if you don't have a sound business model. And that thing never had a sound business model. To the point where you could even say that the promise was a lie. Well, I mean, maybe you were never promised that in a contract, that there was no contract that was signed. But, in practice, marketing wise, hype wise, there was this promise in the air. So now it's the cloud code backend, yes. And you can expect it, and so you can expect it to basically mostly cater to that. Is there maybe, I don't know how they were doing in the past, but I think that now if you go look at the repository, there are no contributors or close to no contributors. By that I mean like open source contributors, like third parties. There aren't anymore. They were in the past. Probably the contributors that they had in the past, assuming they had some, but I would imagine they did. Those contributors were contributing because they were also dreaming of a future where they would have, right, this new infrastructure. But now it's not the case anymore. Now I think that if you go look at the list of PRs, there's not going to be contributions from the general public. So I hope also that this is. Are we talking about ban? Yes, I'm talking about ban. I hope also that this shows that my point is not just to hate on a Rust company. My point is that I feel like the Torso is they're cooked. Like, what are they gonna do? SQLite is so fucking good. Torso has VC money, so they're aiming for an exit, and they're playing this stupid game where basically, I guess, I haven't seen too much from Torso, but given what I've seen, they seem to be playing the game of yeah, of course, we're one-upping SQLite, on every dimension, which it's not really going to be true. Um, and so I don't know what's going to happen to them. Business model? What business model? Come on, there's not going to be a. Well, I mean, it's a database, so in their defense, database it's easier to come up with a decent business model for a database than for other things, but um, uh, but what is the Karitam, what is the Torso promise exactly in terms of tech? Because I don't really get it. Like what are they offering? A better SQLite? But I don't think they are. I don't think they are. I have to be honest. I've seen a like podcast interview with the CEO, and that guy did not convince me even one bit. In any case, my point is that I really think that Torso, uh, I think that Torso kind of uh, beat something that they cannot chew. It's basically SQLite with more network and just as much durability. Mm. We'll see. You know what happens though, usually with these things? Here's the thing that happens usually though. So more network, you mean like clustering? What happens usually is that they make amazing claims about their clustering and their durability and yeah, just as much durability and whatnot. And what ends up happening is that then they get tested by Afair. I forget the name of the company. What's the name of Afair's company? Jepsen, yeah. They get tested by Jepsen, and it turns out that no, they were not as good as they were claiming to be. And Rust is not gonna help you one bit in that dimension. That's something different. We'll see. But I think that we collectively should stop believing startups that are trying to sell us the future, because they are not really selling us the future. They're trying to sell us on a lie most of the time, because their business model, because they are not aiming for a sustainable business. They're aiming for an exit most of the time. Again, not every single one, not all startups, hashtag not all startups. But we should really be much more skeptical than we normally are. The business model is Torso Cloud, which you pay them to host. Yeah, but you can self-host too. Mm-hmm. If they manage to make SQLite 4, there's just SQLite 3 with less quirks, I'm good. Yeah. In any case, I don't know. Given what I've read, I don't even find the quirks to be, too unmanageable. I think that, like, I'm not an expert with other databases, but I would bet an arm and a leg that all the other major ones have an order of magnitude more quirks than SQLite. I think that the level of like optimization that I will be able to achieve with like my SQLite tables and queries and whatnot is gonna be so much better than what I would be realistically able to pull off with one of the other ones. Because I wouldn't go and read all that there is to read with those things. They're gigantic, man. Make this compatible with Microsoft Access. Holy shit. Yeah, talk about quirks. By the way, I would like to be able to rename a column. You can do that. You just have to take 12 steps, right? It's the, wait, is that a religious thing? Is there like a 12 steps kind of religious thing? I'm making a joke because the SQLite people have like this religious weirdo thing going on, but but you can do that. So to rename a column, you make a new table, same as the original, but with one column with a different name, and then you copy all the data over. Easy. I'd rather the order columns Same, 12 steps. There's this blog post. By the way, you know that we have this implemented? Matt Knight implemented this. Let me find the PR. Schema migration. So, simple declarative schema migration for SQLite. So the way it works is they make an in-memory database. They load what's in your database. They compare. Oh, sorry. They load in there your schema definitions. Then they basically diff. Sorry, this is like this is what Matt Knight implemented. But the point is this thing 12-step procedure. This is what the docs say. Disable foreign keys. Start a transaction. And do all the steps. Oh, is it? Yeah, there we go. I wouldn't trust 11 on that. Community transaction started in step 2. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, this guy, 1111. I see. But yeah. Yeah, in any case, it's definitely not perfect. But compared to the status quo of software, I suspect that this is... I don't think that Torso is going to be better in any way. Seems like one step. Alter table, rename column. Yeah. Yeah, I think that the 12-step thing was like for basically doing all kinds of schema changes. Drop column, add column. Yeah, so basically, yeah. For simple things, you can do it. But then if you want to be able to do generic things, then you'll have to do more. In any case, it is fine. Let's move some queries over to my new abstraction. So, how are we doing this? I think so. We ported some stuff in the server. So right now, server initialization is completely covered by the new abstraction. There is a lot more code in server though. And now that we have merged all those PRs, we can start tackling it freely. So I think I would start with server/CLI and basically just do these bad boys one by one. And move them over. Maybe it would make sense to group them up. Maybe. Technically, we could take queries and namespace them. So instead of just doing queries, we can do like CLI queries, maybe. To be fair, you could argue that there is no point in preparing let me think about it. I was about to say there is no point in preparing the queries that you use when running the server if you're just doing the if you're just calling, for example, in the show command. How do you make this work though? How do you make this work? Basically, we need to break up queries and then do initialization, do like split initialization as a second thing, and we only do that. And we only do that. And we only do that. Whenever we initialize database. I mean, that that does make sense, right? Because in here, I am making a database. So we could do init, and then we could do db.queries. Um, yeah, instead of having them immediately here, we namespace them. For example, queries dot CLI. Like we can namespace them also like relatively deep, but just so that we have good granularity. So we do CLI, and then we can even do show dot init. Um, and then let these inits, for example, this query here. How many queries do we have in here? Like the funny thing is that it's even just only one query. So you know what? At this point, for these queries, we might as well even just keep them here. But if we do that, let me think about it for a second. If we do that, we're not going to be able to test them. We wanted the test executable to init everything, to init all queries. So no, we don't want to keep this here, but we want also this is going to make this guy chunky though, like really chunky. I'm starting to wonder if we would want queries to be something separate from database. Like you initialize the database, and then you initialize a specific queries object, which does not live under DB. This might be it, you know? I think this might be the key. The key is that the database namespace contains these guys, but then you do it like this, and then you do const queries QS. QS is going to be database dot. Why do we want to keep them in database? Why do we not put them somewhere else? I'm thinking that this query should be maybe here as a global variable. Yeah, like the definition. The problem is that right now queries doesn't expect you to be like this. Doesn't expect to be different types in a sense. There's probably some more work that we need to do with our abstraction to make it good. This is a dimension that I didn't really think about. I think we want something like this, right? QS is queries dot init, and I don't know, you pass db, for example, and then these queries are like this: pub const queries equals something like this. And then what do you put in here? Something like this. Yeah, so the problem is changing this definition from one type that has all the queries in here to something like generic and parametric. So query can be kept around. I think rows can also be kept around. What we would need to make parametric is it's like this guy, instead of being a top level value, we make a function for it. Fuck it. Let's break everything. Let's see how far we can get. So pub function. Um, if we call this query queries, then what do we call this? I guess we can give it the same name. Hmm. Actually, you know what? I think a query should also hold a name. We never did this, but a query should have a name because I actually needed the name occasionally somewhere and I didn't have it. So a query has a name, the SQL query, and the config. Or we put the name as part of the config. You know what? Let's put the name as part of the config. Okay, so this is a query, this is a query config, and then queries is a function that takes a slice of query, which makes total sense, and produces a type. And then it's literally just a type that we make. So like here's the len of std built-in dot type dot struct field. Name type default value is comp time. Name equals q dot cfg dot name. Type equals q. Default value, no default value, I guess. Alignment. Okay. So this is it. Is comp time false? Did I put that? How do you make a struct? Add struct. Layout, baking integer. So auto, baking integer. That was optional, right? So that's null. Field names, field types. Oh, fuck. Well, what do you know? Field authors. God damn it. There you go. We're going the wrong way. So we don't make an array of struct fields. I mean, it used to work this way, but now it doesn't anymore. I guess this is going to be like names. Types we already have. It's the slice of queries. So we keep those as they are. So this is going to be qlen of const u8. Struct field attributes. Okay. So this is going to be different. This is going to be names, authors, name is going to be q.pfg.name. Author is going to be, I don't know. What is in an author? Com time. Online use size. Okay, so these are good. These are like the default values. So splat this. Can even make this const. Okay, so struct. No space k. Space k here. Okay. So it wants layout, baking integer, field names, names, field types, QS, field authors. What else? That's it. So maybe this is it. Right, run, return. Okay. So with this, we make a queries out of a thing a query. But now that I think about it, why do we need to make a queries object? We can just make them different types. All they have to do is hold query fields. Is there anything that we're doing in here that is non-query specific? Everything that we do is query specific. You know what? I'm a super dumb. Like queries as doesn't provide us with anything. Yeah, it used to give us init. Yeah, we kind of would like to have an init where we init everything. But we can write this a few times and it's fine. Okay, so long story short, what we need is this. We need result. We need query config. We need query. We need rows. Probably we need fatal DB. We'll see. So I'm taking these bad boys, putting them into database. Probably there's a duplicated fatal DB or not. I'm gonna leave these guys in a broken state. So I want to prototype this better. So queries is just a normal type now. It's just a struct. And we're saying select foo is gonna be a query. Like this. And then here's gonna be context equals dot server, for example. Yeah. So this is it. These are gonna be my queries. You know who's gonna have the init function? Database. Database is gonna have the generic method to init query object. Init query set. Or like prepare query set. Init query set. Pub function. Actually, it's what I just copied. We're gonna call it init query set or queries. Takes in QS as an any type. Returns error void. Actually, it just returns void because we fatal DB. Actually that cannot be an any type. There needs to be a pointer to those queries. So I think we might want to do it like this. Yeah. Or not. We can do this. Or we can actually do this. Queries. You give me queries as a type, and I return to you a queries. Make them undefined. Yeah. Holy shit. This works. This actually works. So this is going to be a queries thing. And the way it works is that we do QS equals DB dot init. Right. Init queries. And I'm going to say queries. And that gives me those queries initialized. This is so fucking perfect. So now we have all those queries, and those guys will contain this guy. So let's you know what? Let's just move this guy here. So what is this doing? This query. This is select invite. This is gonna be kind row probably. Args equals struct slug. I don't know, U64. Columns. XPRE. I remember. I think it's U64. Creator. Awebo. User.id. Handle. Text. something like this. And then here we're gonna do const row equals qs dot select invite dot run slug equals cmd dot slug. There you go. Honestly, this is delightful. This has all the good properties that we need because it guarantees that we don't try to initialize queries that we don't care about. We're still gonna have to worry about collecting all these queries in a test executable. Um, but that's fine. There's like a finite number of places where we're gonna stuff queries because it's gonna be basically one group per command. If you do run, you will want all the queries that you use when you run the server. If you do, well, here, like invite show, you just want the query where you show invites. You don't care about anything else. So you're just going to prepare that one. This is delightful. It was actually, this is like such an improvement over what I had before. I'm kind of slightly ashamed of what I was doing before now that I'm doing this. So that means that these queries in here are actually the ones that we care about in run. So maybe I should put them in run. Let me think about it for a second. Well, this is where it becomes complicated because there's clearly like a main set of queries that you want to use. Okay, so here's the thing. Your queries that are used, for example, in the invite show thing are probably one-off for that command, maybe. This is actually not guaranteed. Maybe that is the same exact query that we will want to run in the server at some point. But generally speaking, they're separated. There are queries that are 100% shared between server and client, like no discussion. So we need to think about that. So we basically need to have a process that allows us to recognize that a query has already been written, and there needs to be a concept of, yeah, this query was written and previously it was just like local to this subcommand, but now we realize that it's shared across multiple things. So we need to move it to a different place that makes sense, a place where it makes sense to share the query. So we have to do some of that as well. Oh, people on YouTube are chatting, but I don't see them. Sorry, people on YouTube. What were you saying? Why is CloudBot blowing up? I don't know. I didn't. I'm not following this stuff. If no, use Vim or nvim, not real coder. Okay. Oh man, I missed so many interesting comments on YouTube. Oof. Holy shit. Wow. What a mistake on my part to not pay attention, huh? So these queries, where do we put them? You know what? Maybe let's leave them here for now. I think we can make them work again easily by doing this. I think this should make everything in here compile again. This is gonna need a different usage pattern. But that's it. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Um, so this is fine. How are we doing in database? Are we surviving the new injection of things? So let me see how I made this. If I made this too weird, this seems fine. So init, there's the error log stuff. There's the init. Then there is let's give it some documentation. Um, let's put this on a new line. A quiz and it's a struct that contains all exclusively well, a struct whose fields are all of type query. Maybe we can even be more precise. Although, I mean, query is defined in here, so yeah, this is fine. Queries. Okay. That is really nice. That is really nice. So rows, duplicate struct member rows. Oh, right, because now we have the new definitions, which he pasted at the bottom, and they collide with the old definitions. Well, friends, it's time to go and have your eternal sleep, I think, because we're moving to the new implementation of everything. So these rows can go away. And that means that also we don't do this anymore. Function perimeter shadows what? Oh, we have an import of queries, right? We don't import that anymore. We don't have this anymore. Ooh, give me more errors. Okay, so these are... Okay, so now every place we were using the old stuff is now a compile error. Okay, it's just a matter of adventuring. I think we might want to sort these things around a little bit. This is right now kind of a big soup. We also need to update the comment there. But this is a very nice step forward. Like a very nice step forward. Also, oh, this thing also wants the query. Oof. Okay. Okay. I think we fix all build errors now, one by one. Why can I not go to build errors? Like, why do I see that there are 9 build errors, but I cannot see them? I think this is Flow's fault. Yeah, this is Flow pooping itself. That's annoying. Okay, db row. Select value from host where key equals name. Did we not do these guys already? No, we did the equivalent of this, but in the server. And in this case, we're not selecting everything. We're just selecting name. So that is also kind of cringe a little bit. Hmm. Let's regress this for a moment. Just a quick regression. Let's do more serious stuff first. Okay, so this is grabbing, this is loading users, this is loading all users. I think this stuff should be in queries. Should the queries under database be the one that is shared across all things? Oop. Hmm. I guess we can start with that, and then if we don't like it, we move it somewhere else. So we go in queries. So we have select latest ID, we have select key value from host, select from channels, select from messages. So we have select users, select all users, kind rows, calls equals. I think we should change also how calls works. Somebody made a good suggestion, and instead of a slice of tuples, we can make this a type, and it's just better in some ways. Um, let's go do this. So when we define a query config, calls is not this, but we make it any type. We make it type. Okay, and now we need to update all these things. So there's gonna be let's update them one by one. The calls is gonna be a struct that contains max ID of type U64. There. Uh, you know what? Maybe we can even do this. Yeah, that is good. That is good. You're almost, you know what, also you can see here that you can almost plug here your type if you want. If you have a type, you could almost plug it here. Huh. Well, I guess we'll see at some point what the consequences of doing that are. Okay, this is it. So this is select all users. So here we do bar. Actually, this can be const rs equals. And now what? Right now the question is, what do we do here? What's rs? Here's the thing. We need to pass around queries because we're passing around database, but we also need to pass around queries. So where is load host being used? In here. Oh, it's a DB thing. So here we init Awebo database, init host DB. So this is one place. Holy shit. I just realized one thing. In the client, we're going to have multiple databases. And each host will need its own initialized queries. They're all going to be copies of one another. But I think we still want to have that. Actually, not just we. I think we definitely want to have that. I think. So const qs is going to be db.init queries awebo.database. Then what name do we give to these the queries? I guess. Common queries, shared queries. Well, in any case, and then we need to do db localhost. QS h. And then we want to do h.client.qs equals QS, which does not exist currently, but we need to make it happen. Huh. Okay. Yeah, we need to give it a better name than just queries. That just queries doesn't cut it. Like shared queries. What's a good name? Common queries. That's it. So initialize common queries. This is the encode. So here we're being passed QS as well. So QS should be passed around by pointer, I think. Const awebo dot database dot common queries. Then it's going to be qs.select all users dot run. Oh, you know what's funny? Given how this is currently set up, we don't even need to pass around the database because the queries hold onto a pointer to the database. I don't love it though. I don't love it as a decision though. I think run should take db as an input. We're gonna fix it in a moment. In any case, all users run. There's no arguments, so this is gonna be this and this all at the same time. Yeah, now we can reformat. So this should fulfill this use case. So we have ported this correctly, it seems. Select ID, name, privacy kind from channels. Now, do I not have something like this? ID, name, privacy kind from channels. We do. Select channels. You know what? I will change this from select all users to select users. Okay. So here we can literally just do const rs equals qs dot select channels. Goodbye. Oh, we need to update also this code in here. We're going to do that in a second. UID, origin, outer body from messages. Where channel? Yeah, select channel messages. So this is select channel messages. This other one has limits, which is interesting. Ours here does not have limits, or like the way we wrote it, but it's fine. We can put a limit there. Actually, maybe do this. Yeah, this looks better. And so this is this. And we have made this, holy shit, already significantly better. We're not done yet. Database is a weirdly unused parameter. Let's go fix that. So let's go in database. In the query definition, we're saving a full statement, and I don't think we should. I should take db, which is a database. This should not be a SQLite statement, but this should instead be this. So we don't need a con because here now we can use a db. We have a db now. Oh man, this thing that was made super awkward in the past now instantly becomes trivial. Oh, thank God that I went through this work. That is so much better. So what I want to do here is do it like this. We have q, but we want to make statement because we cannot use that one. So we need to do const stmt of type zqlite.stmt equals con equals db dot con dot con, maybe dot con. Yeah. And actually, do we even need this statement? Yeah, we do. And then statement is going to be at ptr cast this. So this is the statement. And then we do statement.reset. And here we can do catch db.fatal. Statement bind value catch db.fatal. And everything else can stay the same, I guess. There we go. Okay, with this we have made run better. Okay, expected arguments found one. Inside database init. Oh man, this is so much better now, man. So now there's none of this. We can make a database right away. We make a connection, and then we immediately make a database. And actually, we don't even need to do that because we can do db.init. Wait, we are db.init. What am I saying? So we made the connection like this. Connection exact no args. Catch db.fatal. Tables.init. This can use a db. This can use a db. Oh, this is so much better. This can even be db.isEmpty. Can you imagine? This can even be db.init tables. Okay, this is fixed. Type of int connection. Now we can init on db. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we are collected a bunch of a long list of things that need to be fixed. Hitler term exited too. What? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the editor is having trouble with error stuff from the LSP. Let's go fix tables init. Oh, this is so much better now. Okay. Um, so we have now definitely made this better. Go back into database. There's probably a bajillion other things that need to be fixed. I think I'm gonna need Zig build watch. Show me the errors. Database 112. Next. No member name queries in persistence 166. These are common queries. So these are the queries. And now this unused parameter. Turns out it is going to be used because whenever we do run, we're going to need the database. And here as well. And so some of that is fixed. Unused function parameter, we need to pass it down. Query is not marked pub. Init function doesn't match the expectation. That is fair. Query run expects a init database. Expected type const found the load host. What does it want? Oh, common queries is a pointer. Yes. There's no QS. That is true. We need to add it. Expected type T found const T. Can this be const? I think it should be constable. Next mutates. What does next mutate? Um, wait, we were talking about a query. Why has this? Wait a second. I don't trust this error. Also, I can't find it anymore. God damn it. God damn it. Where was it? I'm never gonna find it. Oh well, I'll find it at some point. Expected. Yeah, there we go. In database, when we do arrest.next expected type T found const. Oh yeah, right. It's 164. Okay, so it's another thing. I've made the wrong thing. Const. This cannot be const. This should be bar. This does need to mutate. Yeah, that is fair. There you go. Yeah. Next is this. So this is r.get.uid. That is correct. That is r.get.power. I don't know what r is doing there. Okay. Call type in line 4 config calls. Oh, right. So this function expected columns to be a thing that you loop over, but now it's different. So calls is now a type, and what we want to do in here is this. If not as field config.calls tag name call. If the config.calls doesn't have that field, then complain. Otherwise, we want, what do we want to return? We want to return the type of that field. No, okay, it's different. Type of as config.calls. No, it's correct. But then in here we do type of at field c comma at tag name call. I think this is also better in terms of metaprogramming. This is also a huge improvement. Can't complain. Okay, next problem. Get. Get is trying to do the same. Oh, and this guy is also trying to do the same. Oh no, all of them are trying to do the same. Okay, we need to. Okay, we need to bring the same approach everywhere that is needed. Here it's needed. Here it's needed. Then we just need to do it field, I think, or something. Okay, so if you're trying to do text of a column that doesn't exist, well, then we complain. But if it does exist, oh, then now we do want an index. I think Meta has this field index on config.calls, tag name, call. Straight up. Can this fail? Fuck, it can fail. So we need to do a question mark. I guess we can do a or else at this point. Call type should not use an enum literal in that case. Yes, we could use a field enum. That would also work. The problem is that doing that wouldn't bring us much benefit because the LSP is still not going to be able to resolve these complicated type. So in a future where the LSP is also able to get com time data, that will be definitely a better choice to not use enum literal. But now I think it doesn't really change. Although I guess you could say, wait, I see your point. What you could say is, well, if you use uh, that other thing, then the checking comes from the checking comes immediately from this. Oh, you know what? Then that does seem a big improvement already. Let me try it out. SD meta dot field enum of config dot calls, and then here we do immediately just in front enum call, and then we just call it a day. Holy shit. That is an improvement, isn't it? That does seem an improvement. That does indeed seem an improvement. Now I wonder, why does this need to be com time? I think at this point, this doesn't even need to be com time because we're doing int from enum. I think we might also have gained something in that department. Okay, let me fix the rest. Hopefully I don't mess it up. Boom. Okay, these guys are cool. Let's do coerce. This guy is already cool. Doesn't care. This guy needs to be made cool. Oh wait, let's do this one first. God damn it, I keep making this mistake every single time. I hate also snippets. So we do this. And then we're calling coerce. But there's a safety check. We're saying that def1 is void. So we're saying that the type of that field is void. I think we kind of want to maintain that safety check. So this becomes const c of type config.calls equals undefined. And if type of field c comma tag name call, okay, hopefully we haven't broken anything horribly, but it seems that we're just making it better. So as field, we don't need to do that. We can just do this. And the equivalent of that above is this, except that the message is different and the condition is different. If it is void, we complain. Otherwise, we want to coerce. Well, we want this, I guess. Okay, so this should be it. There you go. Now we need to fix call type. Yeah, that sucks. The problem is that this. Oh, wait. I can implement this once in call type. Can I not? Yeah. God damn it. And then we literally do that trick in there. We do this trick in here, and then we just reuse this function. Can you imagine doing this? Oh, rule, I was already kind of doing this. Yeah. Can you imagine doing this? So if quality is different than void, we complain. Actually, you know what? I want to rename this to uppercase C, and that's it. There we go. Oh, but in this case, since this type changes depending on this guy, then yeah, this needs to be comp time. That's a reasonable requirement in there. Everything else doesn't even need that. That is so cool. So many things have like simplified themselves dramatically, man. Expected type U32 found I64. That is because user ID is defined to be a U32. Let's change it to U64. I think I've already done this before. Um, Maybe I haven't. In any case, this now works. There's still a lot of code redundancy because we've been doing this same exact stuff also server side. So this is my second time refactoring this type of code. So that means that we have collected the queries, which is awesome, but we also need to collect some of these also like outer layer orchestration code. But I don't know yet where to put it. So I'm just going to do the work. Okay, look at this. This is what it becomes. Const kind equals r.get.kind. That's it. That's the new version of that. Boom. No, there's no UID. Are we sure? Yeah, we are sure. We need to fix it. This is UID. Okay, now we have UID. Right, man, it's so good. Okay, this is a good improvement, man. So we still have so many things that are like up in the air, but every single iteration we make some progress. So this is nice. This is nice. More things to fix. No field or member function, blah blah blah, rows in database in user list. Okay, so now so now we're back to having to fix server CLI tooling. So let's go do that. We're back to where we kind of were starting. So invite show, for example. Nothing in context. Oh, it's just CTX in here. Why do I call it CTX instead of context? I don't even remember. Let's just call it context. What's wrong with that? Okay, let me go back to show my beloved. What are your thoughts on the CLI improvements issue? The point of the proposed changes would be to add some ubiquitous helper functions. Wait, 11. I think I might have not made the connection, or maybe I did at some point and I forgot. Are you? Oh, no, this one. This one. Are you Emon Burns? Are you the same person? Um, or are you just looking at the issues and have opinions? I have yet to reply though, but yeah, as you can see, I haven't. I think in general, this all makes sense. Personally, I like giving people a non-zero exit code for help. I don't know. I just think it's a nice thing to do for them. But so this, generally speaking, makes sense, but I'm not sure that it can work as envisioned. Like I was looking at the source code and I was thinking, wait, how do you use this? Because you define like you pass in one argument. I guess this returns a value if it succeeded. So basically, I guess the idea is that you take one argument and you pass it in order through all the flag parsers until you hit one. And then if you don't hit any, that's a parsing error. I guess that's how it's supposed to work, huh? That's fine. I have no objections against anything presented in here. I think these all make sense. Like my only reservation was that I wasn't 100% sure about the usage pattern of this stuff, but yeah, I would be up for it. I would be totally up for it. So um, if you want, if you want to work on this stuff, feel free. Uh, be aware that I'm messing around with queries a lot. So there's gonna be like a huge commit, well, huge, but there's gonna be a like pretty pervasive commit that touches a bunch of files. But I'm not gonna touch help menus. So for example, if you want to do the help menu stuff, you're feel free to do that. Um, and same with help messages. So those two things you can definitely do for sure, and they are fun to do. This one. Yeah, this one also I obviously don't have anything against. Just be careful because I this is something that might cause conflicts. That's the only thing. Okay. So queries select invite, row select invite run db text node dupe invite r.get get get. Uh oh. Well, about this, you see that enabled is now boolean. Now you don't need to wrap it in anything because, well, actually, what did you have before? You had r.boolean. Did I nuke it? I just nuked r.boolean, so I don't see your implementation anymore. But were you returning an actual boolean? Was that not enough to get true or false be printed? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, this commit is fine. Does return a bool? I don't think you need to do this. I think you can just do this and just print the boolean. I might be wrong. So you know what? There's a chance that I might regress this slightly, but it's a price I'm willing to pay, as the bad guy in Shrek says. Okay, so now this is a struct. Oops. There we go. Oh, U64. What was I doing? Consuate. It's a string. This is pretty nice. I think that this abstraction is not bad. You have to manually like keep these things in sync. It would be cooler if we could have these things happen automatically. But you know what? It's like keeping this stuff in sync is not too hard. And you just do get a ton of mileage outside of like in usage code after that. Okay. So this is awesome. Type bool not supported. But it should. Bool should be return bool int from bool Where's my bool from int? So what is the correct way of casting a boolean? I guess I can do different than 0. I guess not having bool from int is, but it's not like do I bitcast? Maybe a bitcast is good enough. They need to have the same size though. A boolean, I don't know if a boolean is defined to have the same size as an integer, so probably not bitcast. I think it's just a logical expression different than 0. Wait, there's boolean. The fuck? Well, there you go. That's some boolean code. Okay, so one file done. A bajillion to go. Database read only. Queries. It's a struct. And we give it what? Select invites. Select invites by ID. Wait a second. No, what am I doing? This is just selecting bytes. The join is just so that we can get user information. Okay. Selecting bytes. Yeah. Okay. Dot context equals dot server dot um kind equals dot rows dot calls equals struct slug constitute xpery u64 I think creator Awebo user dot id handle constitute enabled bool remaining u64 optional u64. Oh, you know what? I might have misdefined remaining in the other thing here. Remaining is an optional u64. Okay. I think there's a compile error that would have caught this. Right now we're not compiling, so it's gonna be a while before I get back to a compiling state. But I think that we would have caught this because the formatting specifier in the print would have had a question mark in there. Slag is a U64 too. Wait, what? Oh fuck. Great, thank you. um, did you do any other stupid shit? No, I think this is fine. Okay. Remaining U64, and that's it. There's no arguments. So this is our query definition. And then we do const qs equals db.init queries, our queries. And then we do var rows equals db dot, well, no, qs dot select invites dot run db. No parameters. There you go. There you go. Invalid from a string D4 type question mark U64. Okay, so we have experienced this. So invite this, experience this, creator, this, this. Okay, it's the other one then. Never mind. So this is a question mark. Oh, so in any case, we caught some stuff. Good. I think this file is now correct. We really don't need to do anything different now. So what's the next problem here? Okay, so now we're back into client server run. And here we think that the queries are inside of the database. Well, friend, I have some bad news for you. That's not how it works. So we have DB. QS is database common queries. And then whenever we initialize this, we also do because common queries is what we're using in run. Then this is now QS, DB, comma. No field of memory function named row in a Awebo database. Get user by login. Oh yeah, definitely. Right. So here we have some more queries that need to be modernized. Select password by handle. Let's just call it select password. So context. Context is just server. Yeah, you know what? The fact that now we have multiple places where we put queries, it's making me think that we should get rid of the concept of context because things that are server only, we just put them into a separate group of queries that are server only. Obviously. Oh man, this is gonna be so good once we do it all. Kind equals dot row. This is gonna be only one result at best. Columns is gonna be the I'm just gonna call it hash, and it's gonna be a string. Args handle. So this is it. There you go. Now we'll go in here and we do, yeah, what do we do? Because we need the query. We also need the queries. So QS. Interesting. So we need the queries. We need database dot common queries. We also want them by pointer. Want to do QS dot select password dot run db and dot handle username. That's it. We do not the init row. You know what? Let's just call it pswd hash. It's fine. That's what we were calling the column. Why there's no point in changing this. Oh, there's another query right below. God damn it. So this is get user by handle. Maybe we have something like this. Select. We have select users. We don't have select user by handle. You know what? I would do select password above this guy, then select users, and then select user by handle. UID, display name, power, invited by, no handle, avatar. There you go. Select user by handle dot run db handle equals username. No the init. Goodbye. Okay. Oof. User row dot get UID. User row dot get power. Actually, this one can stay as it is. Can stay as it is. Can stay as it is. Okay. So this is done. Let's see what else needs updating. Type void. Type void. Let's see what this says. Type void has no members. Where do you see this type void? Persistence 166. No, friend. I think this is a false positive. This is saying that there's a field of type void in there. Uh, but there isn't. Not type void, not type void, not type void, not type void. Oh shit. This is the context thing. Oh. Oh, yet another reason why context is bad. They should make it better now. Yeah, there we go. And as an example, user code to the issue, and another idea, allow duplicate flags. Allow duplicate flags? Um, uh, uh, so yeah, there's plenty of CLIs that allow having the flag more to the right to override the previous value, but I think I don't like this for this project because um it's kind of something that, like, it makes your CLI sloppier, and I get that sometimes it is kind of necessary, but like in Zig there is this concept of the rightmost flag winning. But Zig is also a compiler, and a compiler gets tossed into a pipeline of pure insanity, and the rightmost stuff is like a way for the user to regain control over CLI selection. Hello, Penguin. But um, I think that in this context, when doing CLI CRUD in the database, you don't want this sloppiness. And yeah, I get that there's the annoying thing where you have to do it twice or something. Um, Maybe you can, you can have parse option instead of having parse option return the thing. You could have parse option accept a pointer to where to store the value. So you could have the parse option accepts a pointer to optional t, and so parse option expects the original value to be where it writes to be null. And if it is not null, then instead of writing, it errors out with fatal. It just calls fatal. So you can uh, I guess implement that way. And you know what's funny? That if you then have the side effect not be the return value, then you can save the return value for control flow, maybe. How would that work? It would be uglier though. I agree that this looks cool, while the side effect thing looks uglier. Hmm. Okay, you know what? I'm fine. I'm fine with your idea. I like the way that this reads. I'm generally on board. It's fine if we have the rightmost flag wins. Whatever. What were we doing here? Unable to resolve com time value. Turns out that this also needs to be comp time, huh? This needs to be comp time after all, but this is mostly for the safety, I think. But it's fine. Okay, so now get user by login wants queries, which is interesting because so we put okay, so this is now our design changes like cascading into other decisions. So we made get user by login a method on DB, but the problem is now that DB doesn't own queries anymore. So it's awkward for DB to have this method because this method kind of wants to accept the common. It wants to receive an initialized instance of common queries. Um, so where should get user by login live if it doesn't live in the database anymore? So, and here's I think where things get interesting. Get user by login is server only, so we might as well pull it out completely of Awebo, the Awebo namespace, and move it somewhere under server. This is like of all the server queries, this is the most of the most server of the server queries. So also, you know what? I'm thinking of going into common queries and undo these things that I did to context and instead comment them out so that I don't, so that I can more easily move them around. Um, so we need to move get user by login. We need a place to store server queries, server run queries, especially, I would say. And at this point, maybe server run should also have not only its own queries, but it should have its own like methods that act on queries. So alternatively, get user by login could be a server only method on a host. That also would be somewhat appropriate. That also would be somewhat appropriate. I don't have an answer yet. I think we just need to move this to the server. Are we in server run right now? We are in server run. I think we need to own this function. I'm gonna put it here. This guy doesn't want common queries. This guy wants server queries, or like just queries as defined in here. And so from common queries, oh, I was about to take out some of these things, but what are we doing in here? Select password. So for example, select password. Yeah. So select password becomes a server query. The fact that you can copy paste them this way is really nice. There you go. So now this moved over, and then we are doing afterwards what? Select user by handle. Selecting user by handle, I think it is something that we do also in the client. I believe we have already shared this between, we are already sharing this between two different things. Go to references doesn't really help much, but if I do select user by handle, so this is the definition. This is one usage site, and this is a second usage site. And this one is server permission. Oh, this is another server thing. Okay, so we're gonna have to worry about this stuff in a moment. So it seems that this query is also server only, essentially, for now. So you know what? I'm moving it over, and then if we find out that that's wrong, then I mean it's just a copy paste and a simple refactoring away. Okay, so we move this over as well, and now in the server we create, instead of common queries, let's worry about our own queries now. Okay, so function parameter, so there's no more of this. There's no more of this. We don't have in here. We have fatal help. We have fatal IO. Let's add fatal Okay. Select latest ID. Okay. Nice. So select latest ID is 100% a common query. This is like the quintessential query that we are sharing between server and client. No discussion there. So, no discussion there. So here's what we're doing. We're going to query. We are nuking context. We are nuking this check. And in common queries, so this one needs to be shared. So that means that in server run, we do have our own queries, great, but we also have our CQS common queries. That becomes CQS. And that is also CQS, select host info. Okay, that's how queries need to be structured. The shape of this data has made itself clear. Fatal error. What does fatal normally do? Fatal IO and then fatal. This can be fatal IO. Select channels. Is this a common query? It is a common query. There we go. Select channel messages is also common query. Maybe a row. Expected optional type. What do you mean? What does run return? Result of config. Row, optional row, rows, rows. Well, so select user by handle. Oh, it's not rows, it's single row. Good catch. Okay, now we are in user CLI. So this is another select user, but oh, this is my turbo shitty printing thing. Okay. This is my turbo shitty printing thing. Well, you know what? This is the same as select users. So I have a shittier version of a query that we already have. So we might as well reuse that one, right? So here's one way of doing it. We can also do this. Pub const queries equals a struct, and we have a field select users of type we can just do field info. That's nice. Of database common queries, field being um select users dot type. So we can steal one query definition. So we don't. So this way we could depend on all of common queries, but that means that we're going to initialize all the common queries when running this command. But that's not what we want. We just want a subset of those. So let's just steal the definition, reuse it, but get rid of the rest. So QS is going to be queries. What am I doing? We don't need to specify the type. db.init queries. Queries. Var rows equals db. No, QS dot select users dot run. No arguments. There's no ID. UID. There you go. So this works. That is awesome. That is truly awesome. Um, oh, we build now? There is no way this works. There is no way we have not broken something. Also, really, are there no more queries? I don't believe this. So let's do Zig build test. Let's see what happens with testing. Holy shit, we pass. Zig build CI. We're going to pass CI as well. Jesus. Well, there's only one way of knowing. So these tracks client poops itself. No such table passwords in select password hash from passwords where handle equals blah blah blah. Did I fail to save common queries by any chance? I did. No, the client doesn't have passwords in any case. Bus error at address. Oh, there we go. Finally, some good errors. Oh, actually, this is fine. I've introduced this regression. This is me. This is me regressing shit. This is me regressing shit inside of a database, I believe. There's a place where I've commented a bunch of stuff. So we can get rid of this at this point. I've commented some stuff in here somewhere. And yeah, so we're trying to free a name that is not, well, we can do this, I guess. You know, just to make the allocator happy. We're in. It works. We have successfully refactored everything. Well, except the one place where I have the commented out code. Jesus. We did it. I expected this to be a lot more um, brutal, but it's actually fine. This is actually fine. So maybe we should reconstruct this and we should reconstruct this and that will be it. Then I think we can even commit. No, we can't. There is no. Okay, I see what's going on here. Okay, I know what's going on. We're not testing everything. There are some things that we're not testing. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay, in order. We actually, you know what? We don't even fix this thing. We leave it for last because it's not that important. Here's what we do instead. Like for example, look at these things. These are like I don't know what to call them, like shadow bombs, because do we really not use server permission anywhere? Like we do check for permissions. Why is this not causing a compile error? Or at least we were at some point checking for server permissions. Oh no, you know why it works? Because it does actually still work. Because this is not using our abstraction. This is doing the using the lower level API. Like this query is still gonna work, or rather, maybe it has problems, but we never broke it. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do though. In the meantime, we are going to we created a bunch of queries objects, and we now need to initialize them in tests correctly. So in database.zig, let's assume that database.zig is the owner of common queries. So in here, there needs to be a test block somewhere. Yeah, test all queries. Init database create. Awesome. And then const qs, or like even underscore, db.init queries. So this is not test all queries. This is test common queries. Init queries. There you go. So now this test will test those things. Show me the summary all. Wait, how can I see the tests? I see here is 5 tests. Wait, how can I is there a way to see like verbose test information? I want to see the names of the tests that have been running, not just the total number. Hmm. In any case, this does test common queries. Then we need to test. And we need to go into main server. Here we're testing server. So go to definition. And in server, we're testing run command. Yeah. And run command has its own queries. We're just testing Awebo. We're testing Awebo because we want to test the server. Okay, because we want to test common queries in a server context. That's fine. But then we need to also test our own things. What do you mean unidentified queries? Oh, did I put it in the wrong place? I did. Oh, this is unfortunate. Well, I'm gonna do underscore for now, but yeah, it shouldn't be like this. Okay, Zig build test summary all. Now there's 6 tests. At least the test did pass. We know that. Is there like something for debug verbose? See import air link. Um, oh, there we go. Available system integrations. Fuck, I could have seen these. Hmm. So sysroot libc blah 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 system general options prefix qemu libc runtimes rosetta verbose. No. All new failures. None. Test timeout. Time report. None of these does what I want. Oh well. Zig test. Okay. We can try to fail these on purpose. There we go. We failed. With fatal error, no such column display name X. Okay. Next is so now we do this, which is delightful. But now we need to do this also for other commands. So now we need to go back in server, I think. And just like we test run CMD, we need to run to test also other stuff. Server init. Server init. You know also what we're not testing? The seed functions. We should test the seed functions. So let's go in server init and do that. Okay, so we go in here. We go to the end. We put server init queries. We do Awebo database. We do init queries. We don't have queries in here. So pub const queries, nothing for now. Okay, we go in here. Init cmd. We run init. Okay, so now init has some queries. I'm gonna move these queries definition to the very top, I think. We have math stuff, which I'm not gonna touch for now. Where's my seed code? I'm gonna take the... God damn it. Okay. I'm gonna take this function, move it near the top, right below run. And then these need to become queries. I think they need to become queries, and I think they might need to specify columns. Because if you don't specify columns, you risk reassigning values. Well, basically things shift over, and that's not good. So we need to do this. Ugh. Mm. Okay. This is the next thing that we're gonna do. I think I need a very quick bathroom break, and then we're going to move these queries into queries, and then we're gonna test those queries. So we're gonna test also our seeding queries. Not bad. Give me a sec, I'll be right back. Okay. So let's go. You come with me. Insert owner query. Do. Kind. Oh, this is the first insert that we have. So this is an insert. Dot insert that never existed before. Queries. Queries. Columns doesn't matter. Args does matter. You could almost argue that columns should be dependent on this, but it's fine. Struct. So it just takes one value. No, two values. Owner ID U64, I think, and then the second thing is password hash. Consuate. So I think these are the only two things that we do pass around, and that's it. Jesus, this is horrifying. Wait, do we want to comment here to make this more bearable? Yeah. No, I think we just have to learn to live with it. Config kind rows, insert, void. Run. Switch rows dot insert. We do kind of this. I need to see how they do it. Oh shit, they call exec. Wait, so there's a prepare step plus bind if it's parameterized, but if it is not parameterized, it just calls exec on the string. I guess the idea is that SQLite will cache a no argument query. That might be good to learn about. It doesn't apply to our case right now, but maybe it's something good to learn about. So this is what we're doing. This is what they're doing. This is what we're doing. So prepare, we already did. The init, we're not doing. Binding, we are binding. Yes, although we are doing our own binding, which I think we already did. Yes, we did already do our binding. So we do step to completion. And instead of that, instead of try, we do catch. Fatal source. And that's it. Awebo. Yeah. Okay, so this is what an insert query looks like when you run it. So server init. Oh, it's the handle, not the password. Okay, let's go fix this. Where's the password though then? Oh, right. It's in a different table. Uh, I made this database and I already forgot how it works. Okay, so admin. Why does this assign to admin? Oh no, right. The query was an assignment to admin. Okay, so here we do. Um, well, we need queries. And we're passing c.con. There's no point. We can pass the database and then we pass US. This needs to be UID. Although we don't know yet if we want to do this. Yeah, whatever. There you go. That's what the insert looks like. Let's make it better. Let's add column names in here. Oh, what else in the landing there for a moment? Can we do this? You can even do something like this to try and align them. I don't know if this is a particularly good idea, but it can be done. Okay. So we have this. Then next thing is passwords. So insert password. This is going to be the query. Insert into passwords, but I want the column names. Handle updated. IP password hash. Which, you know what, man, if it's the password table, then the hash field can just be hash. God damn it. Okay. So do we need any common time printing around any of this stuff? We don't. This one can be normal. Kind is still going to be insert. Arguments are going to be handle first and hash second. Hash, I think, is also consummate. I think. Um, So yeah. There you go. Second query added. You know what I'm thinking? What I'm thinking is that we can even add these. So all these, I mean, here we're just like straight up using these queries, so it's not interesting. But when there's a method that does like value binding, it that like adds some logic, we could even add it as a method on the queries struct. Nobody can stop us from doing that. So that might be appropriate. Y0 for updated. Because it's a timestamp, I guess we can do Unix epoch if you want. I'm not worrying too much about this stuff for now. I'm still trying to um, get the overall shape of things right. Like these are like details that right now I'm not worrying. There's not even a place where we can even see this information yet. We need a date time library. So the day that we add a date time library to Awebo is the day that I'm gonna worry about getting these datetime columns and values right, so that we can display them right in the program. But we don't even have that right now, so doesn't change much. Okay, so next thing, what is this? Oh, this one is another comp time print one. Delightful. This one is channels. Insert channels. So channel privacy private. Kind insert. Arguments 1, 2, 3. Which is like ID1, ID2, ID3. You know what? We can even use this syntax in this case. Holy shit. I think we can't even be stopped from doing this. And then we use it this way. qs.insert channels run db. Boom. Huh. We can even do that. Roles. Nice. Oh, here we're missing column names. We need to add column names to channels. This is going to catch so many errors. In any case, what are the arguments here? There's two arguments. ID and update UID. Oh, but they're both the same argument. So I guess UID. But we could have made this. Huh. This should be fine. There you go. Okay, we're like one query from being done. Let's do the columns first though for channels. So ID, which we can leave automatic. So I'm gonna skip this. Update UID section sort name kind privacy. Okay. Insert channels, and he wants 1, 2, 3 IDs. Yeah, we already did this. Okay, now finally host query. Insert host. Hello. What color scheme and font is that? Color scheme is IU Mirage. IU as in AYU Mirage. Font is JetBrains Mono. Kind insert args. We can call it insert host KV. Oh, what about value? Fuck. So this is the one case where value, I like, basically I would like to be able to do this, but this doesn't work. You can't put any type in here. Value does not work. How do we do this? Ooh. I guess we need to say that args is void in a sense. We don't have the metaprogramming yet. We're missing the metaprogramming to make this work. The timestamp functionality is like enough for you. I can maintain a fork of all the nice, fun, resisting things until Rocco Rager updates to master. I asked Rocco Rager to do this in Discord. The reason why I was asking him, so I remember that originally we were talking about this stuff in chat, but then I ended up asking him is because 016 is not just a matter of fixing a bit of like some superficial stuff, but there's like some deeper work that needs to go into maintaining a 016 version. So here's what I would say. I did ask him. He did ask if we had done anything in that sense, or if we had nothing. Given that he's showing up less, like in here in Twitch and in other places, maybe I think he might just be busy at work. So I don't know for sure what his intentions are. But it might be that he's a little bit too busy to work on that right now. So here's what I would say, Der Teufel. If you are truly interested in doing the work to get Zeit up to 016, what I would do is send a message in Discord in the Awebo channel, ping Rocco Rager, and ask him if he is already working on it, or if you can do the work instead, like if you can take over. Uh, and if he replies that he hasn't done anything yet and that he's fine with you doing it, then you can do it. I would avoid doing it without asking him at least first, because chances are that he might be working on it right now, and so it's just a bunch of duplicated effort. But if he hasn't done anything and you want to work on this stuff, uh, yeah, go for it. So I think we need to be able to do this. I need to be able to say that args is void, and args being void means that we don't, like, we cannot express statically what this should look like. Either that, or you know what the alternative is? We could do it like this. Key equals um this as it should, and then we do value is query. We cannot do query.any because query is a function and it um doesn't have that. But we can do database.any, for example. And any is a union of values that this guy accepts. So we can do something like this. Any arg. Or just any, but does that work for columns? Actually, it would also work for columns. Although we don't need it for columns. Okay, I think we can do it like this. There you go. Now we just need to create this type because it just does not exist at all. Is this UID? Insert owner. What did I do with insert owner? Oh, I called it owner ID. Let's call it UID. So there's no any arg. And so basically any arg should support these kind of values, I guess. So it can be a string containing constu8. It can be num containing u64. Actually, let's turn it into an I64. Will we ever go negative? Let's do U64 for now. Bool. So we can start with this, and then we do pop function init. Um, Actually, we don't even need a bool case because bool becomes a num. I think these are kind of it, at least for now. So with this, we have any arg. Now the problem is that we are missing the other way around. Like, how do you coerce any arg to something that makes sense? So in here, we need to support any arg. Although this is used for columns, we're not using it for arguments. So wait a second. How does run work? Where's run? Query has run. Args is config.args. Yeah. And then this is like if config.args is any arg, then we do one thing, else we do the other. If it's any arg, no, actually this is not. Give me a second. No. This is not it because we always start with a struct. It's fine. Any arg is a field. There you go. So if the field is any arg, we need a line switch. This works. Or this should. Error union is ignored. Type I64 is not supported. There you go. Okay. So with this, with this we have run all queries in theory. We have this. Do we have in server testing for initcmd? Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can Zig test. Error. FatalDB error. No such column. PSWD hash. Yeah, we did rename that one, didn't we? Unfortunately, this is not telling us. Well, this is saying database 313. The problem is database 313 doesn't tell us much, does it? Um, yeah. Actually, I would keep this one named password hash. Finding blah blah has no member named hash. Run in 2046. 1046. There's no hash in this guy. Yeah. Let's see the next one. Okay, now we pass tests. Summary all should say that we're running 7 tests, I think. Yes, we are. Okay, so it seems that the init queries are now good, but let's break them. What if I break this one? That breaks. Okay, so we are truly testing them. We don't know yet if they run correctly. We don't know if our abstraction does inserts correctly. So we need to test that as well. But okay, we're making progress. Hmm. So this is good. I think we need to wire in all the remaining queries from the remaining commands that we have in here. And then I think we can commit. I think it's a decent point to commit. We'll still have queries that need to be ported over, but this stuff is starting to take the right shape. This is all really starting to take the right shape. I would even argue that seed should be a function of our query struct, or like our query group, our query container. Yeah. You know what? Let's see if we initialize stuff correctly. We claim that we have initialized everything correctly. Actually, we don't even need this. SQLite awebodb dot schema. Yeah. Select star from channels. We do have indeed those channels. We do have indeed the root user. We do have indeed the moderator role. So, yep. Everything went well first try. Like literally first try. Let's see what else do we have in under server CLI. Init and run, I believe we covered. Oh man, there's a bajillion more things. Roll edit. Oh no. Okay. Oh no, it's a ton of stuff. Oh no. So here's what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna stop the stream here. I think I'm gonna have dinner, and I think I'm gonna do this work after dinner. And then I'm gonna push, hopefully. Either yeah, between tonight and tomorrow, I'm gonna push this work. Like, how are we doing in terms of diff? Yeah, it's fine. Nothing too crazy, but some work. Okay. So this is it. Thank you everybody for hanging out. And yeah, thank you. I hope you had a good time. I'm sorry. The boring stuff has to happen. You know what? I actually don't find this boring myself. It's actually delightful to iterate on these abstractions and see how much of an improvement every subsequent iteration is. It is extremely satisfying. But obviously, you have to like wrangle a bunch of code, and that has its tedious moments where you just copy paste a query in a slightly different position, blah blah blah. Um, but at the same time, it's good that we were doing this manually ourselves, because as we were doing it, we discovered, for example, bits and pieces missing from the abstractions that we have. So um, what's my point? I guess my point is that even though this work is in good part boring and repetitive, I think that if I had delegated that immediately to a agent, I think I would have lost the opportunity to really um, fine tune certain things or like have certain realizations. So even this work that is kind of boring, it's not boring enough for me to really delegate it to AI without giving something up. So, and so we type. Let's see who is live. There's Ethernet cable. Ethernet cable doing stuff. Let's rate Ethernet cable. Go say hi and see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.